year I get newer. I'm the dust on the moon, I'm the trash in the sewer. Let's go, I come back. Every year I get brighter. If you thinking hip hop is alive, hold up your lighter. Let's go, I come back. Every year I'm expanding, talking to the...
What you have in front of you is a workbook, and I'll talk more about this as we go through. The slides that we're going to work on will follow out of the notebook. The first, starting on page 4, if you open up to page 4, you'll see an outline. The outline goes from page 4 to page 10. You'll probably want to read that later, and where we'll actually get started in the workbook is on page 11. I'm really excited. In fact, I'm really excited to be here this morning, to be the first one to introduce the new 18-month program to you guys. I want to tell you a story. Just like Doc likes stories, I like stories as well. I pulled out my R phase manual from the very first R phase the other day as I was prepping for this course. And it was interesting because I was thinking back to my first R phase. It started on a Monday morning in Los Angeles. It started on a Monday because it was a 6-day. I went through on a 6-day courses. In fact, I think it might have been the first 6-day course you guys taught. It was in LA, and I left early in the morning from San Diego. I drove up there. I got up there really early. I was the first one there. I was waiting around, and then finally Doc and Kathy showed up, and they handed out the books and the material. And I remember writing myself a little note in the very front of the manual. And I pulled the book out to take a look at the note. I'm kind of going to keep to myself what it said, but it had something to do with what happened on the Saturday before. The Saturday before the course started, I went for a walk. I went for a walk with this girl. Actually, I'm calling her a girl, but really she's my wife now. So I went for a walk with Jessie, and we went for a walk down the boulevard near the coast, and I was in this weird mood. It was an overcast day, and we were walking along, and I was just thinking about what was coming up on Monday. And I said, you know what? I don't know why, but I'm excited about what's about to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I kind of felt like it was going to be something big, you know? And then we went for a walk, and that walk that her and I took, that was like the blessing that started it all, you know what I mean? And here we are, 5 years later, we're married, and that's where it all began. So, like I said, I'm super excited. I got a lot of stuff I'd like to talk about, a lot of stuff I'd like to share with you guys. We probably won't get to it all today, and that's okay. But before we begin, if you guys can just give me a moment. I really want to recognize what it is that we have here. First of all, congratulations. You've made it a long way. 18 months. But of course, it started for many of you way before that. This process started a long time ago, maybe with your first R phase. And I feel like we're all a little bit over-prepared for this. You know, we've been working at it so hard, and we've been thinking about it so much, it feels like some of us are a little bit well done. I know I feel that way. And I don't want to make it too hard. I don't want to do it too well, because then it's hard to chew. Right? So I kind of just want to try to do it just right. You guys took a long time to get here. And the fact that you're here today, in early autumn, here in the middle of the desert, it proves that this is a true school. And as that, I'd like to make a vow. We're committed to enhancing the faculties that will continue to grow and allow us to lead our youth. And that's important. The youth part is important. Our job here is to begin preparing the next wave of individuals who are coming through. So whenever, Kathy asked me if I wanted to be involved in a program, she invited me to speak to you guys, and I thought, cool, what's my topic? Because I thought back to the first R phase. You guys remember the first R phase that you guys, not R phase, you guys remember the first Master Trainer program? When you got your topics? Do you remember the day you got your topics in an email? What did you get, MG?
Pain neuromatrix and hormone cascade.
I got the pain neuromatrix as well. I didn't get the hormone cascade. The other one what I got was the neural hierarchy. And I remember I got those topics and I was thinking, what the heck am I going to do with this? How am I going to present on this? This was the first topic that I got. Let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Pain neuromatrix. Have you guys seen that photo before? That image? And if you want to follow along in the book, we're on page 11 now. You guys remember the pain neuromatrix? It was published in 1999 by two guys. One was a psychologist, the other one was a physiologist. Their name were Melzack and Wall. And they had to get together because on their own they were studying pain with their clients and they weren't really making any headway. In fact, they started like 34 years earlier. Originally, 1965, they first published on gate control theory. That was the first time that they actually got together and they figured out the physiologic mechanisms of pain. But of course, there was more to it. There was more there than just the physiology. So they spent the next 34 years working, and this is what they came up with. This picture right here. There's more published on the neuromatrix now than there was back then. In fact, if you turn the page in your book, you'll see another diagram. It comes from Lorimer Moseley. It's a little more useful and a little more practical than this right here. And if you notice, originally this was called the body-self neuromatrix. And what's interesting about it is whenever I tried to research it, and you might have found the same thing, MG, is everything referred back to this one paper and this one image. Everything went back to this one thing. And I didn't know what the heck to do with it, Dempsey. So I ended up, if you guys remember, I ended up presenting on something really weird. It was like we had guys, what they were doing is they were letting people lay in a tank full of water. And it was like a saltwater tank so you could float in it. And they would put a cover on it so it would be pitch dark. And it was essentially sensory alteration, changing your sensory perceptions, right? So we're taking away all the visual information because it was really dark, taking away a bunch of vestibular input because you're just kind of floating there. It was a novel vestibular environment. And you had all this somatosensory info, essentially, from the water. And people were using that at the time to help people alter pain or change chronic pain problems. And I just thought it was cool, so I talked about it. It didn't really come out the way I wanted it to. But I tried talking about it. And that was my first topic. And then my second topic was this, the neural hierarchy. And this right here, you guys remember this slide from iFace? This is one of my favorite slides of all time. I like the visual mathematics of it. You know how you have one thing going into 3, back into 1? And then when it comes out the other side, you have 1 going into 3 and back into 1. I think that's so cool. But if you look at the top of the slide there, what does it say? Well, above that, it says balance control, right? So at the very top of the slide, it says balance control. Excuse me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to old school hip hop. KRS. Get in this. Molly Law. That's right.